What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today we're going to talk to you about SoFi. Give you a quick overview of some of the data points, what's really moving it today, and go over what shorts are up to. Before we get into any of that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. SoFi is currently up 2.44%, 1 hour left in the trading day. It's showing a lot of good strength. So starting off, you did have manufacturing data coming out better than anticipated. So the 0.1 versus the 0.2. So with it being lower, it's kind of insinuating more of a strengthening economy, more of a productive economy as well. And then aside from that, the minutes just came out. So the dreaded FOMC minutes. And in reality, they weren't as bad as what a lot of people were kind of anticipating. It just showed more of a focus on labor, but we already generally knew that because Powell, I think it was like a week and a half ago, he did that speech where he did say that labor was more important than even GDP at this stage. So I think that was kind of the writing on the wall. So the market's taken that as a fairly good positive. SoFi did put out this news this morning. So SoFi launches 2 new credit cards. So of course they alluded to that during their last earnings, and actually I think at one of the recent conferences, this was also brought up. So kind of not new information, but still I think this is good. It'll really appeal to kind of the broader masses and hopefully incentivize more kind of new members to come on board, because with them cutting APY, I'm sure that's going to take a little bit of a hit ultimately, but still having more credit cards, it's generally a win-win if you ask me. Of course, the bears might say otherwise because they might see this as more taking on additional risk, but you know what? It's very, very minuscule. And based on last couple of earnings, the kind of increase associated to credit or credit cards is very substantial. So yeah, let me know you guys' thoughts on that. As far as right now, no real change from yesterday. So currently there is a 84% likelihood of a 25 basis point cut. So if this does stick going into next week, I have a weird feeling that the market's going to start pricing in fully a 25 basis point cut. I think right now it's just been kind of up in the air, a lot of volatility associated to that. But one thing that I have brought up time and time again, and that is kind of big money rotating in. And a lot of the data points have been very, very optimistic. And you can kind of see just right now, just today, like the numbers, dollar value, just getting into the market is through the roof. So you can kind of see over the last 5 days and today, so big money is rotating in. And this is why you see, not always with SoFi, but generally across the board, more just higher volume. So most likely the next update, you'll see probably money leaving money markets and going back into equities. So that update will be tomorrow, typically every Thursday. Last week, they did kind of leave equities to go to money markets, 38.67 billion. So I anticipate the opposite to happen right now. Shorts, this is now the 3rd consecutive trading day of shorts returning. So right now they're returning 348,000 shares. So again, good data has been coming out, and plus SoFi's upcoming earnings. I think it's they should be rightful to kind of return some shares. But 17.18% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 179.69 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow average is 0.68, and then short score is 68.37. So yeah, this is a pretty good trend that they are going on, as you can kind of see. So they went through a stage from September the 16th up until pretty much September the 24th of returning. They kind of stuck around for a little bit, but last several trading days, like I said, they are starting to return. So pretty good stuff. Looking at options, 7.21 million in calls, 1.23 million in puts. So a lot of money is getting into SoFi through options. Even this candle right here, basically at the same time as Powell coming out, or I guess the minutes coming out, you had 965,000 just in premiums between that kind of period right there. 58% of all the options being done today are optimistic and bullish. And just this one candle right here, a lot of people have really liked when I kind of bring this up, but generally it is bullish. A lot of $8 calls. Expiry date is January 17th, 2025. And kind of weird that a lot of big money is orienting towards that expiry date. So for those of you that have been watching my channel, and when I do bring up these abnormalities, if that kind of makes sense. They're always January 17th, 2025 for the expiry date. So yeah, what's your guys' thoughts on that? Of the call options that are being purchased, you see a consensus for it to be above $9, which, like I said, I think based on the technicals, everything is pointing to it being above $9, assuming CPI tomorrow is fairly good. Looking at the puts, you see kind of a consensus for it to be sub roughly around 850, so very much upside is anticipated. And with today being Wednesday, just so you guys can kind of look at the open interest, currently there are 16,000 at that 8, 37,000 at the 850, 19,000 at that 9. So yeah, honestly, there is no real substantial walls for SoFi to really get stuck on. So it is free and clear to completely run up. Based on this, these are all the transactions that have occurred on the secondary market above $100,000. So you had some selling first thing. It looks like as soon as the market did open, one big one as well, 1.77, but looks like people bought the dip. And not only that though, people are buying the meeting minutes as well. So a lot more bigger transactions are getting in. And so right now with that $8.61 is right now flirting with this R2. So 863, definitely need to watch for it to get above that. And then aside from that, 844 will be a strong support. And then 895 is going to be the next strong resistance / target. So yeah, honestly, I can realistically see $9 by the end of this week. Again, assuming CPI is a-okay, because you also had that Fed speaker this morning that did say that if CPI is lower, then there isn't really a reason to cut rates. So you might see this rise a little bit, but still it is what it is. On the actual chart itself, things are looking, like I kind of said, a-okay, higher percentile, stochastic. You do see it roughly overbought once again. So white line above the red, so a little bit more of a bullish sentiment as well. A number of retail investors are getting in. So yeah, things are looking fairly good. So as long as shorts continue to return their shares and you have a lot more capital running to the market, then you are going to see naturally just a lot of stocks just continue its run higher. So yeah, let me know you guys' thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And let me know, did you guys buy today? Did you guys sell? What did you guys do? And did you guys do any options? That's the bad thing about doing covered calls with options, is that if you're kind of set in a price, sell a covered call, and the stock price goes up, you're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. You either have to take the L, as what I've done in the past, and just let your shares go, or you kind of cover your option. So it's kind of a sticky scenario sometimes, but that's investing. And one final thing, I did actually just launch multiple different levels to my membership. So if you do like my SoFi content and want to support the channel, definitely consider joining as a member. But with all that said, appreciate all of you guys watching.